Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza Horizon 2 with another rally car build. My vehicle today, it is a classic rally car, the Renault Alpine A110. Was this on this Dirt 2? One of the Dirt series games, I remember this car being on. A good fun vehicle to rally with, but of course we're going to make it a hell of a lot more powerful and a hell of a lot faster as we put it up towards the put it up to the S1 class. Now the good news when it comes to this car is we can have the proper rally body kit on it. When we go in here, we have the proper rally parts. It looks very peculiar. Like, it kind of reminds me a little bit of an MX-5 when you take off the whole front bumper bit. But, yes, slightly strange look with there. But, no, we will have the full-on rally kit. Strange rear arrangement you have going on at the back of this car, but I think it does look pretty damn cool. And then we come round to the back of the vehicle, and it is now the rally version. Sure, we're going to go with that. Now, the rules for the series is that the cars must be four-wheel drive. So we will change this vehicle up to a four-wheel. Actually drops the PI by a fair amount. Okay, it's going to make the car heavier. This starts off as a ridiculously light car. By the time we're finished with it, it's going to be very, very light because we've got weight reduction and so on. So it could be quite quick. I'm not quite sure what to expect from it. Other requirements, it must have the Storm Island off-road tyres, it'll have the off-road suspension, and the off-road gearbox. Gearbox will give it some nice short gear ratios for the track that we are driving on. The suspension should mean that it can survive the jumps. I'm not sure. Hold on. That's the stock springs. That's the race springs, and the seems to be something curious going on. That should put the car as high as possible. You see, that's saying the ride height is higher than this, but it's definitely lower. Okay, well, I'm going to have a look. Is the... for some reason, it's stuck the ride height. Let's just reset that to default. Has it? Oh, there we go. I think what may have got confused is this was a car I used for the low-powered speed runs. I guess I reset it. I thought I reset everything. I guess apparently not. Okay, there we go. Now everything is properly reset back to standard. We've got sensible ride height again. Now I have lots of PI to play with for this car. With the mandatory parts on, it's only midway through C class. So the first thing we're going to do is tyre width. We've seen tyre width be very important in this series. We've not got particularly big tyres. 215s. They're not that good. I would like a bigger tyres. Certainly the cars that lead the table, in fact the top three were all with huge rear tyres, or huge tyres in general. The Sagaris was kind of lightweight. That still has some decent sized tyres. MX-5, GT40. Yeah, a lot of the cars at the top have got pretty big tyres. I think the Mazda and the TVR are the only two that didn't have ludicrous. They're still going to be bigger than this, so we may have a slight lack of traction going on from this car. Other things that we're going to want to do: brakes. That's clutch. Why am I in there? We want brakes. There we go. We most definitely want some uprated brakes. Suspension, we already have, sorry. We're going to go for the race anti-roll bars. I mean, we can just stick on all of these parts. It's not going to matter a huge amount with the PI, if you like. Do we want to go for a roll cage? Only had £69, so yes, we will go with that, and then we will dump out a bunch of weight. 1,700. It's still going to be incredibly light. So we're almost into B class. Now we may well have to go for an engine swap. I don't think we're going to get enough power out of this standard engine, really. Not realistically to get it up to S1 class and to have it competitive. So we're going to go for an engine swap. Our options are 2-litre i4 or a Subaru engine. I think we'll go with the flat 4. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's the lighter of the two engines, ever so slightly heavier than the standard one, but not by much. So we will go with the Turbo Flat 4. Okay, that's now put us well up into S1 class. Now, exhaust, I think I've mentioned this before, exhaust is a great upgrade to have, because not only does it add some power, it also takes off a huge chunk of weight It's okay. This exhaust isn't the most noticeable one. I've seen take off a lot more weight. Exhaust is often the first thing I'll do now on cars because it gives you more power and we get a chunk of weight taken off. Things like turbo and so on, you will get huge gains in power, but the weight also goes up a little bit. What do we want? What do we want upgrade-wise? I think I may just go for the full-on turbo here. We're not going to have a huge amount of power in this car. I know we're not going to have a huge amount of power because it is very, very lightweight. So to keep the PI down, arse. This is always the way. It's always the way trying to balance. There we go. We'll go for a clutch. We'll take some weight off it. Yeah, sure, that'll do. Power to weight ratio then is still pretty good on this car. Only 373 horsepower, 355 torque. Considering some of the cars we've had have had 400, 500. I think we've had up to 900 in the Shelby Raptor, but it only weighs 1,700 pounds, making it probably the lightest. I'm just trying to have a look. Is there anything that'd be lighter than this? Maybe the classic Mini. Not much. Not much would have been lighter than the Renault. My concerns with this are to do with handling. Basically, camera went very mental there. I've got the right tyres here. Actually looking, the tread looked like sport tyres for a second. Yeah, expectation-wise, it could be quick. It's light, should be fast accelerating. Concerns are landing of the jumps. Will we be bounced around? We've seen that happen a few times with small lightweight vehicles. And will we actually have enough grip through the turns with these quite small tyres? But we will go to the Forest Brawl circuit. I have 5 laps to go as quickly as possible. The fastest time ever, a Lamborghini Countach with a 59.2. I don't think we're going to be beating the Lamborghini. However, I could well see this car getting into the top 10. I'm looking at sort of the Mazda Speed MX-5, a 1 minute .2, potentially, maybe the other MX-5 we had around here, I think it was a 3rd generation one, a 1 minute .7, somewhere in that region. I would perhaps expect, we would potentially see the Alpine end up. We're not going to have the ridiculous straight line speed of some of the cars. We just don't quite have the power. I think the Countach was up to 140 by the end of that, the end of the straight, and that's pretty damn quick. But we should have some half decent acceleration and grip rise through the corners. Oh, actually got some understeer going on. It's not what I quite expected from the little Renault. Actually got a lot of understeer. I was expecting oversteer, I'll be honest. Ooh, okay. We're a little bit out of shape down the jump as well. I was expecting, being on dirt, I was expecting the car to be sliding around all over the place. I think we may have a broken gearbox. Judging by the looks of this, we may... I think it may have done the... we're going to have to get back out there. I think it's only maxing out about 120. Occasionally, normally the Storm Island gearbox is fine with cars. We had it happen with a couple of vehicles. The Mini was one where the gear ratios are so short that it's practically unusable. Okay, there's some... there's some information for you about this car. We will have to very quickly go and sort that out. So I have to quit the damn thing to go back here. Yeah, that's really... We will just extend them a little bit, give it a slightly more sensible gear ratios, and that should be 160. That's much more sensible. It actually will be quite useful as well. Having a bit long, I mean, of course you want decently short gear ratios for a short track, but having them a bit longer means that we perhaps won't be spending so much time constantly bloody changing gear and faffing around with that. That should now suit the car quite nicely. Yeah, the first couple of corners, it does feel like there is just a general overall lack of grip. That's perhaps what you might expect from such smaller tyres compared to some of the previous vehicles that I have driven. Right, attempt number 2, we stalled the car immediately. Yeah, much better. Still short gear ratios, but we're not going to be buzzing in the rev limiter at 120 miles an hour. Right, flow into turn 1. It's not too bad. It's not too bad through these corners. It's the jumps that I fear most with this car. We can't quite be flat out through there yet. Maybe after a couple of laps practice. Ooh, it lifts the front wheel up. That's not what I expected. Oh dear. We're twisting and flailing and sideways through there. We were, I'm pretty sure it wasn't lifting it up. It was leaning an awful lot. through the turn there. Right, throw it through the bumps. How do we cope with them? Oh, yeah, not good. But it just suddenly point at the floor. Yes, we shall point at the floor with our little Renault. Okay, that's something to be scared of as we come to tackle this monstrous jump up here. How fast are we going to get in a straight line? Oh, it flies quite nicely, actually. I'll give it credit. That does not fly too badly. Straight line speed. Can we get up towards... Oh, we are quick. It is actually pretty fast. 138. It's about as quick as the Countach. Okay, that surprised me. That's got some serious straight line speed. So if I can keep it all together through here, I'm too wide. It's just not quite. Wee, that's a big slide. That's not what we wanted to be doing at all with the Renault. Okay, you know, it's faring a bit better. It's this just slight lack of cornering grip. I can't quite carry the same speed through some of these turns as I'm wanting to. We very nearly end up in the trees, and then we're going to... Well, we're not quite as bad this time round. Didn't nosedive into the floor. Oh, we're fighting. The bumps, I mean, they're a bit kinder to this than some vehicles I've driven, but it's still, it's so light, I think, is the issue with this one. We do fly relatively well. That was a bit of a heavy clonk on the floor, and now I can't get it off the edge of the circuit. It's, I'm at 3.1 on the first lap, and it wasn't exactly the cleanest of laps, and this one here is not going to be amazing. Oh, we've got problems. I had to try and correct mid-corner, and then we ended up in some trees. This is an interesting, strange car to drive. We just lack that little bit of grip, which makes it a bit awkward. Oh no, now we're all out of. It's just I've been out of position for one corner, and everything has all gone wrong. The rest of the that was a terrible first half a lap. Yeah, if I could have like 265 tyres, or at least bigger would be nicer, but yeah, if we could have even larger tyres, that'd be really useful, I think. This car could absolutely fly. As it is, I got sort of just a bit of understeer, and then we get a bit of oversteer. I also am pretty sure the car is moving about quite a lot on the suspension. There's a couple of places it feels like it's lifting front wheels up. Maybe not sort of ridiculously in the air, but it feels like it's starting to lift them up. Again, we're hitting the nose fairly heavily. It's not quite enough to tip the vehicle onto its roof, at least. It is very fast in a straight line, I'll give it that. The acceleration is very impressive with this car. Okay, now I've got to try and be neat again with just sliding. It's just letting go a little bit through some of these corners. No, I can't quite keep it in fourth around there. Now, take this jump. Don't let it get away from you on the landing. There we go. Take some speed. Not quite the fastest we've been through there, but at least it was neat. It was tidy through there. And now we run down here. I think we definitely want to be keeping to the right if we don't want to risk having an accident on the bumps. It is a neater lap we have got going on now. Slow it down for the final corner. And now comes the decent acceleration of the car, actually, up towards the line. Just looking at the little mini-map where the target time is, if you like. We're not going to get the 59.2, but it should still be a decent lap time. 1 minute 1.5 from the Alpine. Again, slow down for this first corner. It could do with bigger tyres. With bigger tyres, this could be a really very, very good car. As it is, I think it just lacks that little bit of grip to really push it through some of these turns. We'll try again on this lap. Seems like a pretty good start, and certainly the first half a lap we are on par with that target time. Oh no, I just can't quite carry the same speed through the turns as I can with some other vehicles, and then we get bumped here. We're much better that time, actually. Just sticking a little bit more to the right work wonders for it. And slow it down for this final turn. Try and get it out again. Yeah, it's a good car, actually. It's perhaps a little bit better than I expected, sort of speed-wise. I thought we may struggle, but no, it's a decent car with straight line speed. This is going to be a better lap as well. What are we going to do? 1 minute 1.4, pretty consistent from the Alpine there on the final couple of laps. It puts it into 18th place. It's slower than the Jeep Wagoner. That's a surprise. It just doesn't have the grip. It doesn't have the grip through the corners. I can't quite carry as much speed as I would like to. When you get it out of the turns, acceleration is good. It's a little bit light, a little bit bounced around on a couple of the jumps. It certainly goes a little bit nose down on the big jump if you get it a tad wrong. Yeah, just not quite enough grip. Still not a bad car though. Could have been a hell of a lot worse around here. But yeah, it is 0.1 of a second slower than the Jeep Wagoner. That Wagoner has actually been that's pretty good lap time from that thing. It drove pretty well and everything. So yeah, there we go. Not quite the result I expected from the from the Alpine there, to be beaten by a Jeep. It goes fractionally faster than the Bentley Continental GT. But that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.